Looking back now, I should have known. All the signs were there, little moments, offhand comments, subtle shifts in behavior. If I had been paying attention, I would have seen exactly where I stood in my own family. But I wasn't. I was too busy being the provider, the dependable one, the fool who thought love and sacrifice were enough to keep a family together. I was wrong. Let me introduce myself. My name is Malcolm. I'm 58 years old, and for most of my life, I did what a good husband and father is supposed to do. I worked hard. I built a life for my family. I provided, protected, and made sure they had more than I ever did growing up. I wasn't born into wealth, no silver spoon, no trust, fund. Everything I have, I earned. I started at a small accounting firm, climbing the corporate ladder while my wife, Deborah, stayed home to raise our daughter, Sophia. It was a role we both agreed on. She wanted to be a full-time mom, and I wanted to ensure they never had to worry about money. So I worked, late nights, missed weekends, skipped vacations, all to give them the best. I bought a house in Rosewood Heights, a quiet suburban neighborhood with tree-lined streets and Sunday barbecues. I sent Sophia to the best schools, paid for every extracurricular, and wrote a check to cover her entire college tuition, debt-free. And I never asked for a thank you. I didn't do it for gratitude. I did it because they were my family, my wife, my daughter, my world. But somewhere along the way, something shifted. At first, it was subtle. Deborah started making financial decisions without consulting me. An expensive piece of furniture here, a spontaneous trip there. Whenever I raised an eyebrow, she'd wave it off. "You can afford it, Malcolm. Why are you making a big deal?" Sophia's gratitude faded into expectation. She didn't hesitate to ask for money, for clothes, trips, an apartment in the city. But "thank you, Dad," became rare, almost non-existent. Then came the wedding. When Sophia got engaged to Tyler, a corporate attorney from a well-off family, I was genuinely happy for her. I offered to pay for the wedding, even when Tyler's parents said they could cover half. "This is my gift to you," I told Sophia. "I want you to have the wedding of your dreams." I should have noticed. It then, the flicker in her eyes, the way she glanced at Deborah. I should have paid attention when they made every decision without me. The venue, the guest list, the catering. I signed the checks, but they planned everything behind closed doors. I brushed it off, told myself it was just wedding stress. They'd include me when it mattered. I was wrong. The day before what I thought was the wedding, I walked into the kitchen and said to Deborah, "I can't wait for the wedding tomorrow." She laughed. Not a nervous chuckle, not a guilty giggle. A full-blown laugh like I'd told the funniest joke in the world. "The wedding happened yesterday," she said, still smiling. That moment split my life in two, before and after. Before, I was Malcolm, husband, father, provider. After, I was something else. Standing there, staring at my wife's smug expression, I felt something snap. Not rage, not heartbreak, just a cold, quiet realization. They never planned to invite me. This wasn't a mistake. It was deliberate. I turned to Sophia, waiting, hoping she'd say it wasn't true. Instead, she picked up her phone, tapped the screen, and held it out to me. There they were. Deborah, Sophia, Tyler, the in-laws, my own siblings and nieces and nephews, smiling, laughing, celebrating at the wedding I paid for. My heart pounded, but my face stayed calm. I set my coffee mug down. Deborah raised an eyebrow, waiting for me to explode. Sophia shifted uncomfortably. I gave them nothing. I turned, walked to the hallway, grabbed my coat, and stepped outside. No yelling, no begging. Because I realized something they never considered. I had spent my life taking care of them, but they never once asked what would happen if I stopped. I opened my banking app. No missed calls, no texts. I wasn't an afterthought. I wasn't a thought at all. So I whispered to myself, "Let's see how much they laugh when I walk away for good." I looked at every transaction: mortgage payments, credit card bills, Sophia's rent, monthly transfers to Deborah, wedding expenses, dress fittings, honeymoon bookings, all paid by me, and they left me out on purpose. I turned and walked back, into the house. Deborah and Sophia were laughing in the dining room. I paused. "Dad's going to be fine," Sophia said. "He always gets over things." "Exactly," Deborah replied. "He wouldn't have fit in anyway. It was elegant." Elegant. Stiff. I took a breath, stepped into the room. Silence. "You threw a wedding without me," I said. "Dad, don't make this dramatic," Sophia sighed. "Dramatic?" I said quietly. "I wasn't even invited." Deborah cut in smoothly. "We just figured—" "No," I interrupted. "You didn't forget. You decided." Sophia shrugged. "It wasn't personal." "Not personal." That hit harder than any lie. "All right," I said. They didn't notice the shift in my tone. I turned, walked to the bedroom, and began to pack. Behind me, Deborah's voice floated in. "Stop it, Malcolm. You're not leaving. Where would you even go?" I zipped the bag, swung it over my shoulder. "I don't know," I said. "But wherever it is, it'll be better than here." For the first time, I saw it. Fear. Real fear. She hadn't expected me to actually walk. I stepped past her toward the front door. "Malcolm!" she called. "You're being ridiculous!" I didn't answer. I didn't look back. One step after another, 17:25. Then I was at the front door. I wrapped my fingers around the handle and opened it. Cold air rushed in, slicing through the warmth of the house. Our house. No, not anymore. Not ours, not mine, just theirs. And they could keep it. Because I was done. Completely, entirely done. I stepped out, letting the door close behind me with a soft click. I didn't look back. Not when my phone started, buzzing in my pocket. Not when Deborah called my name, her voice cracking with something close to panic. Not when I climbed into my car, started the engine, and pulled away from the house I had built with my own hands. I was leaving behind a lifetime of sacrifice, and for the first time in 30 years, I felt free. They thought they had won, thought they could laugh it off, let time smooth over the wounds they inflicted. But they had no idea what was coming, because when you take someone for granted, you never notice what they gave you until they take it all back. I drove through the quiet streets of Rosewood Heights, fingers clenched tight around the wheel. Streetlights cast long shadows across the road, their glow blurring slightly as my eyes welled with the weight of the evening. But I wasn't angry, I wasn't sad, I wasn't shocked. I was just done. Done pretending, done excusing, done sacrificing for people who had made it painfully clear that my worth to them ended where their comfort began. It's a strange kind of grief. Realizing the family you built your world around never truly saw you as part of theirs. But now, they were about to feel what that meant. I pulled into the lot of a small motel on the edge of town. The vacancy sign buzzed faintly above. Inside, I reached for my phone. Not to call Deborah, not to answer the barrage of missed calls and messages. I wasn't interested in apologies. I opened my banking app. For years, I'd handled the finances alone, the mortgage, the credit cards, the household expenses, the insurance policies that covered not just my family, but her mother too, Sophia's. Monthly allowance, never questioned, always delivered on time. I had built their safety net, funded their entire world, and they laughed in my face. That ends tonight. A few taps, the joint accounts frozen. Her credit cards, canceled. Mortgage auto payments stopped. Sophia's allowance gone. My personal savings moved to a new account, mine alone. I wasn't naive. Deborah would notice quickly. She'd call the bank. She'd try to undo it all. And when she couldn't, she'd panic. I was waiting for that. Lying back on the cheap motel bed, I stared at the ceiling, letting it all settle in. For the first time, I felt weightless. They were about to learn just how much I had given them. The first signs came early. I woke up to 26 missed calls. I didn't answer, just showered, grabbed coffee from the lobby, and stepped outside into the crisp morning air. More messages rolled in. Deborah. Malcolm, what the hell is going on? My card just got declined. Did you forget to pay the mortgage? I got a late fee notice. Call me. Then again. Okay, this isn't funny. My accounts are frozen. I can't access anything. Fix this. Then Sophia. Dad, my card isn't working. Did something happen with the bank? Dad? Answer me. Mom's freaking out. Okay, seriously, what is going on? I have bills to pay. Are you mad about the wedding? Come on, Dad. It wasn't personal. You're making a huge deal out of nothing. There, it was. The entitlement, the dismissal, the assumption that I'd cave. They still thought this was a game. I smirked, sipping my coffee, scrolling through the panic. Then Deborah again. Malcolm, you're acting childish. You can't just cut us off like this. We're your family. Family. I set the phone down. They weren't worried about me. They didn't regret anything. They were panicking because they'd lost their safety net. The phone rang again around noon. I let it go to voicemail twice. On the third, I picked up. Malcolm. Her voice was shrill, unsteady. I could hear background noise, probably the bank. Morning, Deborah, I said, calm, sipping my coffee. A pause. She hadn't expected me to sound so at ease. What the hell is going on? She snapped. Why can't I access our accounts? Why is everything frozen? I hummed. Huh. That's weird. Malcolm, this isn't funny. Who said I was joking? Silence, then a quieter tone, calculated. Okay, I get it. You're upset, but this is ridiculous. You're not thinking straight. Oh, I'm thinking perfectly straight, I said, probably for the first time in years. Another pause, then a scoff. So what? You're punishing us? No, Deborah, I said. This isn't punishment. This is me resigning. Resigning? She repeated, like she couldn't process the word. From my role as your personal bank. A sharp inhale. You can't just walk away from your responsibilities, she shouted. I laughed, actually laughed. Responsibilities? I said. You mean like paying for a wedding I wasn't even invited to? Silence. That silence? That was the moment I knew. I had won. No shouting, no explanation, no begging. They had played their hand, and now they were watching everything fall apart, the aftermath. By the end of the week, Deborah had maxed out every card still in her name. The mortgage was officially 2 weeks overdue. Sophia's lifestyle? Halted. Frozen. And me? I was fine. Better than fine. I was free. I hadn't realized how much weight I carried until I set it down. They had used me, expected me to keep giving. Without question, they thought I was predictable, that I'd always come back. But they made one critical mistake. They forced me to see the truth, and once I saw it, there was no going back. Emotional liberation. Malcolm experiences a profound transformation from being a constant provider and fixer to becoming a man who reclaims control over his own life. His calm demeanor in the face of their desperation signals strength and healing. Consequences of entitlement. Deborah and Sophia, used to comfort and unaccountability, are suddenly forced to confront a life without Malcolm's support. Their desperation is raw and revealing, especially when stripped of the social and financial cushions they've long relied on. Twisted notions of family. The story challenges the idea that family ties justify toxic behavior or demand unconditional support, especially when respect and appreciation are absent. Satisfaction without revenge. This isn't a tale of vengeance. It's about closure. Malcolm doesn't gloat maliciously. Instead, he finds peace in no longer sacrificing himself for people who never valued his efforts. Some people aren't born lucky. They just learn to lean on those who are. For years, Sophia had been living the high life, lavish trips, fine dining, luxury gifts. But it was all funded by me. And when I stopped paying, the illusion unraveled fast. It started small. She stopped offering to pay for dinners. She skipped her usual shopping sprees. Her friends noticed first. "I saw Sophia at that boutique she loves," one whispered. "She didn't buy a thing." "She's been dodging brunch too," said another. "You think something's wrong?" Oh, something was wrong, all right. She lost her golden ticket. She lost me. The mortgage disaster. A month later, the house started slipping. At first, they were buffered by the remnants of our joint savings, but that didn't last. They never learned how to manage money. The first missed mortgage payment brought warnings. The second added penalties. By the third, it was critical. Then the bank called. "Mr. Carter, we're calling about the property on Ashwood Lane." I sipped my coffee. "What about it?" "Payments have been missed. Since your name is still on the mortgage, we wanted to check in." I smirked. That's not my problem anymore. A pause. "Are you surrendering the property?" "I'm saying the people living there need to figure it out." Another pause. "Understood, sir. We'll proceed with the standard process." Perfect. Standard process meant foreclosure. Deborah and Sophia were about to face the consequences of decades of entitlement. The fall from grace word spread fast. Deborah, once proud and patronizing, now whispered about behind closed doors. "I heard Deborah's late on the house," someone said. "I thought they had money." "They did," someone else replied, "but they took it for granted." The call from Sophia came late at night. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity won. "Dad?" Her voice was small, cracked. I said nothing. I don't know what to do. The bills, the house." "Mom's freaking out." I leaned back in my chair. "About what?" "Everything." She broke. "I think we're going to lose it all." I let that hang in the air. "I'm sorry," she whispered. I rubbed my temple. "Are you sorry, Sophia? Or are you just scared?" Silence. "I just want things to go back to how they were," she said. I smiled. "They never will." And I hung up. Peace by the end of the second month. The foreclosure was official. Deborah fought it, pleaded with the bank, but without my income, there was no saving it. She moved in with a cousin, the same one she used to mock. Sophia? She stayed with a friend, still married, but the shine of her new life was gone. Without my support, she had to live on Tyler's budget, and it wasn't enough. A friend in finance told me about the restaurant scene. Sophia, fumbling with her purse, unable to pay the bill like she used to. The shame was hers to own. The second call, I didn't expect another call, but one evening it came. "Hello?" A pause. Then Dad. I almost laughed. After everything, she still had the nerve. "Sophia," I said evenly, "I didn't think you'd answer. Why did you call?" A pause. "I don't know." She knew. "How's Tyler?" "Fine," she said too quickly. "And your mother?" "She's managing." Translation, struggling. "Is that why you called? To update me on your mom?" "No," she whispered. I miss you." I let that sit. "You miss me," I repeated. "Or do you miss what I used to do for you?" Silence. "Dad, please, can we just talk?" I smiled. "We are talking." "You know what I mean." "I spent years trying to be in your life," I said. "Years giving everything, waiting for you to see me as more than a wallet. You never did, until it was too late." Another pause. "So that's it?" "That's it," I said. "You're just done with me? I used to fear that question. Now, it felt like peace. I didn't walk away from you, I said. You walked away from me. I just stopped chasing. She broke. I'm sorry. Maybe once that would have mattered, but not now. Take care of yourself, Sophia. And I hung up. Closure. I sat in silence, not with sadness or regret, but clarity. She had finally apologized, but I had finally moved on. No more guilt, no more responsibility, no more pretending. I turned my phone on silent, poured myself a drink, and stepped onto my balcony. The night air was calm. My life was finally my own. And for the first time in 30 years, I was free.